Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the 116 F3. This is a vehicle that I actually believe the single shot is better than the autoloader. And that's funny because, as most of you are well aware, autoloaders and auto-reloaders are generally the strongest vehicles in the battlefield. And on paper, this gun sounds really dangerous. It's able to deal 420 damage with a 3-shot burst. That's 1260 potential damage in just 5.4 seconds. However, there are big downsides. The biggest downside is not only the effective damage per minute, but also the penetration, the accuracy, and the fact that you don't get to use adrenaline. You add all that together, and I do legitimately believe that the single shot on the 116 F3 is honestly a better option in most of the scenarios you're playing in. But we're going to put it to the test and see just how the single shot performs. The big thing that I do really like about the single shot is the alpha damage. It's 490, which is a really juicy chunk. It's enough that you can outtrade most tier 10 heavies, but also it's a quick enough reload that when you're dealing with enemies like an E100, a BZT, or something with a high alpha gun, you can win the reload and still be able to take off a pretty substantial amount of health. So it's just a really solid combination of firepower. This gun also has really good pen, upwards of 380 millimeters on the heat, making it one of the highest heat pen tier 10 heavies. So let's make our way over towards base C, and hopefully it'll go well for us. We have a no camo Mil 2. That's never super confidence inspiring. We have the Atlas though, and that's a very good vehicle. Now, something I do like about the 116 is the profile. This tank has pretty good armor. It's very troll, and most importantly, the turret is also pretty well armored. So in general, the 116 is actually a pretty good tank in that regard. It's got a really nice armor profile, and okay, I guess not. Somehow, the 50 TP managed to hit me at that angle, pen my track wheel. That's a little ridiculous. I'm gonna admit that's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, you know what? Maybe the armor isn't that good. Maybe we're just gonna be perfectly snapped by every single enemy, every single shot. I can't believe that. Though those shots were pretty wild. Either way, let's see. We got the IS-7 who... Okay, I'm assuming we hit the 4.52. We did. Unfortunately, the shell hit the 4.52's track instead of who I actually wanted it to. Let's see, will the IS-7 poke? They do, and there you go. Nice 5.35. It's pretty good. Again, the gun that this vehicle features hits really hard, and it obviously allows you to win a lot of trades. I do really like the gun that this thing has. Question is, will the IS-7 poke, or will they just stay in cover? I think they will poke. We do have really good heat pen, as I mentioned, so even if the IS-7 only slightly shows me their turret, we're almost guaranteed the pen. Our Atlas is not doing too much, though, right now. I'm going to back up, because the last thing I want is the enemy Yag to be a problem. Let's get a nice 500 shot into you, and uh-oh, this Yag is about to chunk our teammate. Oh, maybe not. I'll just sit here. I got no reason to play super aggressive. Let's get a nice shell into the IS-7. We'll back up. We're already up to 2,800 damage now. And this is obviously where having that DPM feels really nice, because if we were using the autoloader, sure, the autoloader would have the advantage of being able to, you know, dump out a lot of damage, but the ability right now that we are using our tank single shot, and we're ripping out the damage with the single shot capabilities, is definitely a lot better in that situation. And again, with a 490 alpha gun, we really do outtrade the enemy. That IS-7 got rolled, which is really nice. So we're going to reload again. At this point, the IS-7 is not in the best of scenarios. There's another 512. The IS-7 misses the shot, and that puts us up to 4,500 damage. And again, you can see that the reload really isn't that bad on this thing. It's not a problem. Will the 4.52 drive into me? Well, I didn't really care. Guess we'll clear the IS-7 because he has a little bit more health than the 4.52, but I was originally going to try and shoot the Yag. However, I guess it doesn't matter too much, right? Let's get the clearing shot, and there you go. 4,655 damage. Would I have done that much with the auto reloader? I don't know. It's hard to say. But what I can say is that in that game, the single shot felt nice. We had really good rolls. Our gun didn't really troll at all. We had one shot that missed, which hit the track wheel of the unspotted 4.52, so it's not even really to blame on the vehicle. But yeah, like, as we saw, the gun that this thing features, really good. 384 heat pen, 283 on the standard, and it also has really nasty high explosive output, because obviously it's got a lot of standard alpha damage, so really, you add that all together, and I don't have any complaints. But enough yapping, let's go into another game and see if the 116 can keep it up. We have a Atlas and a 116 platoon, and I can tell you quite confidently that that platoon is going to be using the autoloader. Just about everybody that drives the 116 F3 uses the autoloader, and I get it, right? Big clipping potential, ooga booga. But at the end of the day, I think if you're a skilled player and you know what you're doing, you can perform better with this gun. Alright, I'm going to... I don't even know what I'm going to do. We don't have any mediums. We have one light tank, Diego, who has decided to go mid. And I think the best play for me to make is I'm going to go full wide. Because we can already see the M48 Patton in mid. And I just feel like going full wide would allow me to get away with quite an aggressive play. So that's what we're going to try and do. I did get spotted from the enemy Atlas, which is a bit of a bummer, but no real huge problem there. We have the Patton, who does get a shell into me. Oh well. At the end of the day, I'm going to be in this far corner, and that Patton not going to this far corner put their team in a rather mid spot. I'm not too worried about the BZ-75, because I don't think that player is going to be able to pen me all too much. Are they going to poke? No clue. They are going to poke, and... wow, you got me good! Woo! 140 damage. Not really sure why that player fired an HE at me, but alright, I'll take it. Thank you very much for the free damage, good sir. It's aiming on the side of the 57 heavy. Nice 502 roll. Again, this gun hits really hard, and when you're able to get this gun to work, it is quite nice. So, not really sure what this 57 heavy's game plan is, but looks like he's going to try and YOLO me, because, you know, average Ooga Booga player. Gotta YOLO if I'm in an autoloader, of course. The 57 is continuing to YOLO, which is... again, a very interesting choice. I don't really understand the thought process behind it, but okay, my bad game. You know, clearly a skill issue on my part. You know what the most annoying part about it is that this enemy 116 almost had my rear because that 57 heavy put me in that spot. But we get a nice shell into the enemy, and I don't love this situation. To be fair, we're alive, and while the enemy 116 is trying to stare at me, I'm going to ignore him for now. However, I am going to back up, and we're going to get a nice shot. 512. There you go. That's got to hit pretty hard. Again, we're running the single shot, so I don't lose any DPM or anything shooting that player, but they definitely lose quite a bit shooting me. I'm going to back up again, and... okay, that was horrible. I will fully admit that. That was horrible on my part. Should have been focusing the BZ-75, but oh well. That's a misplay that I'm going to have to live with. I don't really care about the 116, to be honest. He's going to have his own fun in just a moment here. And if the BZ-75 pokes me, they're going to lose quite a bit of health. So, that's really their choice. Alright, I'm going to aim it on the 116. There you go. Nice 519. You know, sometimes it's hard not to get a little frustrated at this game. I just want to point out to you, an AP shell from the BZ-75 rolled 770 into my lower plate. That's a max roll. It's got a 620 alpha gun, max rolled the shot, and lit me on fire. I mean, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. You really can't. I say it all the time. I legitimately swear I have the worst luck in this game. The fact that he max rolls, lights me on fire, just... really, game? Really? I can be okay with an average roll and a fire, or a max roll and no fire, but you gonna do both to me? Come on. Either way, we did fine. 2,800 damage is more than enough, and I should not have shot the enemy 116, or tried to shoot him the second time. I should have ignored the 116 and focused the BZ in my front. I didn't realize he had pushed up, though. I didn't think he did, so... oh well. I really can't get too mad, though. We won, and we also gave our team a pretty good situation there, because for some reason, the 57 heavy decided to YOLO. Alright, well here we are, last game. We have a bunch of heavies, M6 Show, E5, EK90, IS4, and IS7, 2 tank destroyers, and not a single medium. That's, it's quite the rare lineup. We have 2 E100s, one of which that has no camo. and both are running the derp gun. Usually when I see E100s running the derp gun, I don't consider them to be the best players. And that's not to say the derp gun's bad. I'm actually using the derp gun on my E100, but if I'm going to be totally real, I consider the single shot lower alpha to be better on the E100, so you know, whenever people are running the derp gun, I just assume they don't know that. That's usually what I assume. All right, here we are. Let's head over to base B and, or not base B, base A, and hopefully we'll be able to get a crossing shot early on. I'm assuming we will. There's the Yo. The thing about the 116 is it's pretty fast, right? So you don't have to worry too much about mobility. Okay, that was Oh, their whole team is just kind of here. It makes sense. Again, they're all heavies, so I'm not shocked even in the slightest, but definitely something to think about. There you go. Nice shot into the enemy lower plate, 497. I really do like that alpha damage. Being able to hit the enemy for, you know, a really substantial chunk like that, it does feel really, really nice. So we have the IS-4, who I get a nice 508 into. Again, this thing just, it really does chunk. We're going to drive a little bit over here. There you go. Reload, 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 and... Alright, we're nice. We're fine. Let's see. What's going on here? Will the VK-90 poke? Is he just going to stay there? It looks like the VK-90 is going to ricochet me. Okay, well that doesn't really do anything, does it now? We know that the Foch is still most likely sitting in the back, so it's going to be hard for me to really make any plays, you know, past this position here. Okay, I am going to move up. I'm going to move up safely like this. And we know that the Yo shot, so I can poke the Yo, get a nice 496, and that's 1,500 damage with 3 shots, which makes sense because our average damage is right around that ballpark. Okay, let's reload again, and let's see, there's the VK-90 aiming. Boom, 458. I don't know, I really like the single shot on this thing. I find it quite enjoyable to use, and the fact that you can outtrade most enemies that you're fighting, it does add to the capabilities. So there you go, nice shot into the enemy VK-90. His game's over. We have the IS-4 all the way over here. Same for the T-110E5. Let's aim in on the IS-4 for now. Should have shot the E5. I even had his entire side, and, well, the game said no. So, oh well. We'll just back up for now. Let's see. Can I hit the E5? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really sure what to say about that. Let's see. IS-4 got tracked, and they're probably not going to push further. We still have the Yo over here, and I'm actually going to ignore all of that. I'm going to get a shell into the Yo, aiming on the lower plate, and there you go, 495. Pretty good. We're okay, but our team is not doing very good. I think we can agree, right? This team is falling apart pretty fast here. Okay, well, we have the Yo, and we have the IS-4. Alright. I'm hoping that our teammate does okay. Let's see. There's the 5. Nice. 549 damage into that player. Okay, and the Yo overpokes and gets a shot into me. Will our minnow do anything? That is a legit question that I have, and it's a pretty important question, too, because we have so much on us right here. This minnow is just literally doing nothing. Like, bro is just sitting there. He's not helping anyone. He's not taking shots for anyone. He's literally just sitting there. Oh my god. The teammates like this minnow really get me salty, because, I mean, what am I supposed to do, bruh? Like, come on. You're full health and you're just sitting there and letting me take every shot. Finally, he pushes up and kills the IS-7, but like, really, dude? Really? You're full health the entire time. All you had to do was push up, kill the IS-7, and I could have driven into cover, probably killed the Yo, but nope. That's too much. That's too much to ask, especially when it's a 2-mark player. That's just really disappointing. As I always tell you guys, it doesn't matter how good your tank is, it matters how good your team is. When you have a minnow flanking to begin with, it's just a pretty big L. But hey, we blocked over 3,000 damage, we did 4,982, we did get some very unlucky shots. We bounced the IS-4 because our shell missed the lower plate that was fully exposed. We bounced the E5, which we also had the fully exposed lower plate on. If both of those shots had hit, the E5 and IS-4 would have been dead, and we would have won. But that's the one thing I still don't love about the 116. The gun is really derpy sometimes. And while this gun is better than the auto reloader in terms of its dispersion, .323 is still bad. very bad. Like, to put into your mind how bad of that dispersion value is, I mean, the 5A is 0.306, and that's not even running, like, any provisions. So, the gun is just not very good on this tank in that regard. It never will be, and it's definitely a little frustrating, but it's better than missing one of your 3 auto-reloaded shells, I'll tell you that. Either way, I do believe that the single shot is better, especially in that game there. I don't think the auto-reloader would have performed nearly as well. But you guys, let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please consider smashing that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.